It's been 2 years almost since I was delivered from a spirit of infirmity that was making me mysteriously sick. It was about once a month. I would wake up in the middle of the night, always on a Saturday night. The enemy wasn't being very sly, before I'd get up and go preach the next day. And I would just be throwing up, and it was just violent for no reason. It's like you don't get food poisoning on schedule, you know what I mean? But I didn't realize what was going on, and then it was revealed. I got delivered from a spirit of infirmity. Haven't thrown up since, ever, in 2 years. And that wasn't the only thing. There's so many things that was tied up into that healing from just this inner angst, anxiety that was stirring within me that kind of made me, when the kids would all talk at me, because we have 5 small kids, and you guys who have small kids, they just talk at you a lot, that I would just get kind of wound up because I didn't have all the peace of the Lord. There was something, that spirit of infirmity was just causing anxiety within me, and I didn't realize that was going on. So once I was delivered, that was gone, and now they could talk at me, and I was cool with it, you know what I mean? So there was that. Wasn't thrown up anymore. I was cool with that. And there's other things that happened that are a little more personal. But there was one thing that I wanted, that I thought would happen that didn't, and it was sinus problems. I had dealt with allergies my whole life, and my one side of my nose was 100% stopped up. The other side of my nose was maybe 70% stopped up. So I was just walking around with chronic congestion, and that's a little bit miserable. And plus your nose is running. It's how can it run when it's stopped up? And, all this stuff. So, I was surely that healing will happen. Surely it was the spirit of infirmity causing that too, but it clearly wasn't, because I received healing from all these things, but that still remained. And so I continued on this journey. It's I'm not stopping until I receive the fullness of the healing that belongs to me. You just kind of get this, what do you call it? Boldness on the inside. You're I ain't giving up. I'm going to see the fullness of this. I'm not living with allergies my whole life. There's going to be an end to this. And so I was seeking and seeking and seeking. And it wasn't until maybe a month ago now, Beth made one of the most strange comments in the kitchen one day. This is where it started. I call it skinny tea, because it relieves all of your bloating. Isn't that wonderful? I'll sell it to you for the low price, the recipe. No, I'll just tell you about it later. But I call it skinny tea, but basically you're just boiling lemons and oranges and ginger and cinnamon together, and you make a tea out of it. And I'd been drinking that since Christmas time. And I even got my dad hooked on it whenever we had a Christmas together. He thought it's great, so he makes my mom make it for him every day. But so I drink that every day, twice a day. First thing I drink in the morning, last thing I drink at night. And it relieves all of the bloating and stuff that you might have in your gut. It's wonderful. It's the Lord gave us these wonderful things to help us. But you have these lemons and these oranges, and it just seems like a waste, because it's sitting in the pot day after day, and we're just throwing it in the trash, all the tea I'll call it the tea remnants. And Beth's she comes in, she's surely there's something we can do with this stuff that's useful. And that's what opened the door for the Holy Spirit to begin speaking to me. And all of a sudden I was moved to stop using hair products. Stop washing your hair with shampoo. Stop putting gel in your hair. Stop putting hairspray in your hair. Just stop. And I was okay, what do you wash your hair with then? Did a little bit of research and found out that lye soap is the cleanest soap that you can use. It's what they used hundreds of years ago. But when you use lye soap in your hair, then you have really dry hair. So I was what are we going to do to bring moisture back into my hair so I don't fry my hair off my head? And that's when Beth's comment rang out of my ears, what are we going to do with these remnants? I was I think I'll put that in the blender and make a little paste out of it and put it in my hair. This is crazy, isn't it? This is crazy. But I want you to know, in advance, when you decide to follow the Spirit of counsel, the Holy Spirit, when He's leading you to spit in people's eyes and stuff like this, He'll lead you to turn lemon peels into paste for your hair. And so I just began doing that. I was just moved to do it by the Spirit. I was just moved to do it, so I did it. And He's asked me to do some crazy things over the years. So I'm whatever, let's make lemon paste and have at it. And so I stopped. I didn't put hair gel in my hair, no hairspray. Like, this is just all natural, baby. What you see right here, this is my natural hair. And Beth said it took her a while to get used to it because it's like a big poof on the top of my head. It's like, well, that's just what my hair does. It poofs. So I'm doing that faithfully for a week before I notice something's changing. I've had a nasal polyp, which is kind of like just a growth in your nose. It just blocks your nose. There's nothing like cancerous or anything about it. It's just kind of like a tumor sort of thing. An obstruction. That's what was causing the right side of my nose to be fully blocked. And you could see it. It was that big. It was like, I don't know, it wasn't as big as a grape because you can't fit a grape up your nose. But maybe it was, and it was just like shoved all the way up in that side of my nose. And I noticed after a week of doing that, for the first time in probably 5+ years, air is moving through the right side of my nose. And so I get a big flashlight out and look up my nose. I won't make you all do that. And you can't see it anymore. And since that point, it's just been getting smaller and smaller. I'm pretty sure it's gone now because there's a little whistle there, but it's like, it's 90% open. Like, so it went from 100% closed to it's 90% open now. And it's really strange to breathe through your right nostril when you haven't done it in a while. I don't know if you can tell that I sound a little different today. And so after all this played out, I was like, Lord, all this time. And he revealed to me that all this time, it was the hair gel that I've been using for the last 10 years that was causing me to have a nasal polyp. Because I put it in my hair every day. Every day for 10 years. Every day I was putting this hair gel in my hair. And it wasn't until I dove deeper into the Holy Spirit, because y'all, I just wrote that book, The 7 Spirits of God, and I began to understand the 7 expressions of the Holy Spirit, and that He truly does want us to walk in the spirit of wisdom and understanding and counsel. And so I submitted myself even further into that. It's like, Lord, if you tell me to make lemon paste, I'm going to make lemon paste. If you tell me to stop putting that stuff in my hair, I'm going to stop putting that stuff in my hair. And I was to a high level of obedience already, but somehow that message just took me into a deeper level of obedience where I could finally hear the solution to what I'd been asking Him for a long time. Isn't that amazing? So, what a testimony. Hey, before you go, I wanted to encourage you to pick up my book, 7 Spirits of God, Unlocking the Fullness of the Holy Spirit. This is really what led me to be healed of nasal polyps, just understanding the 7 expressions of the Holy Spirit. It's a quick read, and you're going to be so glad that you read it, because it's just going to, whoa, you're going to realize how valuable the Holy Spirit really is to you. So pick up your copy on Amazon.